recording. So one is a mobile service, and another one is a country service. Okay, so next one is mobile some accessory service, right? So and all these three services are going to be invoked from a client. That is again a microservice, right? There are totally 4 microservices. So one we will write with MVC data JPA, right? This is MVC data JPA. So that is mobile service. One we will write with Spring MVC and JDBC. That is my country service. One we will write with Webflex and MongoDB. So here the database is going to be MongoDB. Okay. And this MongoDB, it's not like locally we don't install it. We install it on the cloud and we're going to use it. It's not like you install it on local. No, it's like mostly like kind of how you do it in the real time, right? It's a, we're going to install MongoDB on cloud on AWS or Google or on Azure, and we're going to use that. And all your microservices, 4 microservices should be secured for sure. We're going to apply security, and you have to write all JUnit test cases. I will implement for one microservice. It's your responsibility to implement unit testing for all microservices. And we will also do some bean validation, right? So bean validation. So in our mobile service, when the request comes to, right, when the request is coming to save it in the database, we don't save it. First, you do some bean validation. So it's our goal, like end of this training, you should be able to write RESTful web services using JDBC, RESTful web services using data JPA, SOAP web services using JDBC or data JPA, and both in the non-reactive way and reactive, right? So reactive you do write, you can able to write, and non-reactive also you can able to. Okay, and your all your microservices are secured by using JWT token and having proper unit test cases with proper bean validation, right? So that is what is our all target. So with this, we are done with the development. So then we will be jumping into the microservices concepts, like when you really deploy it, right? So like here till this time, you use some URL hard coded, right? From client, you use URL hard coded and call it, but that is not is the real model. So you do call like from client mobile service by using some Eureka service discovery. And there are some properties you're going to load it by using cloud config. And when you send the request, what exactly is happened, right? The tracing. And if anything goes wrong, right? The circuit breaker, automatic handling, the fault, uh, automatic the handling mechanism, right? The fault tolerance had automatic handling mechanism. So that is what we're going to learn in the microservices. Okay, so this is what our actual complete training. So I mean, I already told, right? So I will teach Go, and I will do it hands-on. I give some assignments, you have to complete it. Then only you can learn fully. Okay.
Sunil, can you talk little louder, Sunil? Sometimes your voice is going low. It's not. It's like sometimes.
Sorry. Is it good now? I'll speak.
Now it is good.
Yeah. Okay. Yes. So this is what is our actual goal, right? What we're gonna learn. So this is what is our expectation, and I'm just repeating you again. You can get 40 to 50% just by my training. If you do practice, then only you can get best out from this training. If you don't practice, then for sure I can say simply you're wasting your time, right? Wasting time and money if you don't practice. So practice is the only thing which can make you expert in any kind of software, right? It can be Spring Boot, microservices, or whatever it is. Okay, let's come back. Done with the disclaimer, right? So,
One thing, Sunil, actually yesterday I was trying to create one MVC. So what I found, right, there is already one archetype we have in Maven. If we will use it right, it will automatically give you the MVC structure, like ready to use. No need to write web.xml. Everything will automatically will be done by the Maven.
we are not writing any web.xml file, right?
No, yeah, in a Spring Boot, no, on native Spring MVC, I'm telling.
That I already covered. There is an archetype called Apache web app.
No, there is one more is Spring MVC archetype.
Mhm.
There is one
Anything it's
more.
fine.
Uh,
Anything it's fine. We will be learning Spring Boot, right? So no
yes,
problem.
yes, yes.
That is fine.
Just telling if someone wants to native, that is also one more thing.
Yeah.
Yesterday only I see first time.
So Apache web app also there. You just
Yeah, yeah.
would like to try that also you can try, but mostly try to do the things in the Spring Boot.
Boot only. At the end, doing boot one by one. I was trying like
Mhm.
native, then Spring Boot.
Yeah, yeah, I understood. So no, no, I'm just first you complete boot. I mean, not to you, everybody. First you complete boot applications. If you get some more extra time, then complete those web.xml. First of all, high priority for Spring Boot. Okay.
Yeah, did boot also.
Yeah. Okay. So yesterday we were learning about these methods, right? To fetch the data, we will use query or query for object. To update the data, we use update method. To delete also, it's going to be update, insert, update, or delete. It's going to be update method. And if you would like to execute any DDL queries, then we will use execute method. So that is what we saw yesterday, and we were trying to do an in-clause operation using JDBC template. Yes, that was that was unsuccessful, right? So we identified the issue. What was the problem? So the data type is not supporting, right? So we just debug and we went inside and we saw we have support for day, time, timestamp, collection, object type, string type. So there is an inbuilt support available for these types, but there is no inbuilt support is available for collections, right? So after going through a couple of examples, what I identified is, I mean, it's not a proper way of doing. So most of the people are doing something like this, right? So they are trying to create a query with a number of placeholders. So when we run this code, for example, if I run this code, I am getting a query select star from city, where, country. So the number of placeholders is depends upon uh, the collection size. For example, if I pass three parameters, then there are three placeholders are preparing. So the query itself is preparing like dynamically, and we are passing that query here. We are passing that query here, and we are passing the data. So that's how the things are working, but that is not our target, right? So our target is just a single placeholder should work for all. But somehow with JDBC template, we are not able to do that. So we are preparing a query with the number of placeholders. Like, so we're gonna get like select star from city, where, country, code. In if you pass two parameters, then two placeholders, right? So let's go to the Spring Boot command line runner, right? So Spring Boot command line runner, and I just want you to show calling that method, right? So just uncomment this code, and just run it. We are passing two parameters. Okay, so you see that here I'm printing a query which we are generating, right? So it's our responsibility to generate query with a number of placeholders. So I'm just printing that query, how it looks like. So just run this. You see the query, right? So there is a query which printed on the console with two placeholders, right? So this is what is the query which we are generating, right? We are writing some extra code to generate this thing. So like this, it is working with the JDBC template. So JDBC template is not, I mean, there is no default support for in class. So we need to write some extra code, but anyway, that is not a proper way of doing it, right? So that is anyway, it's not proper way of doing it. But Spring JDBC supporting in class in terms of named JDBC parameter, right? So named JDBC parameter. So, but one more thing I would like to do here. So one is in this example, I'm just getting this city repository by auto varying it, right? So I'm just auto varying city repository, and I'm calling it here. So in order to do that, Spring has the capability to inject the dependencies to command line runner method. So you can just pass it as an argument. So Spring itself will inject that city repository. So no extra auto write required, right? So no extra auto write required. You just pass that repository as an argument, Spring will automatically inject the dependency. So if I run the code, still I will get the same output. There is no difference because AutoWire and passing the arguments both are same, right? So let me show the console. You see, the same query is printed and the same output become, right? So we got cities which are in India, and we got cities which are in the Brazil. So let me change it to Australia. You get Australian cities. So you got Australian cities, right? So yeah, so we should do like this: no AutoWire, no explicit AutoWire. Okay. So with this, we are done with the JDBC template. So the methods which we need to remember on JDBC template only four. So no driver loading, no driver loading, no connection opening, no statement creation, no exception handling, no result set iteration, nothing required. The only thing which we need to remember is query method, query for object method, update method, execute method, and there is one interface which we use to extract the data from the result set called row mapper, right? So these five terms you should remember, right? And in this file, execute is not required because we will never do any create table, drop table, right? So execute is for DDL purpose. So we will never do create table, drop table. Yeah. So create table, drop table. Yeah. So here, right? These operations we will never execute from the Java. So we will send the raw query to the database admin. He will execute and he will promote that query to the dev environment, QA environment, and pre-prod environment and production environment. So execute is completely optional. So only four things which you need to remember. One is the query. Second one is the query for object. Third one is update, and the fourth one is row mapper. Row mapper, right? So these four terms you should remember till you're working in IT, right? So Spring JDBC. So these four words you should not forget with respect to JDBC template. One is query, second one is query for object, third one is update, fourth one is row mapper. So at least the naming convention you should not forget, right? At least the naming convention you should not forget. Yes. So yeah, so this is all about JDBC template. But the problem with the JDBC template is a placeholder. So for example, let's go to the insert query. So here we are inserting a couple of parameters, right? Where is the insert query? Select, yeah, insert. So here we are inserting a couple of parameters. Okay, it's like 5 parameters, that's why we are okay. But there might be some cases where the table may have 50 number of columns. So you have to insert 50 parameters, right? So we keeping all 50 placeholders, it's really very difficult, right? So the readability is going down. So for our learning purpose, we are playing with 4 or 5 parameters. Our tables are small in size, but in the real time, it won't be like this. You might have some 100 columns, 150 columns, 50 columns, right? So it may look something like that. So by that time, these placeholders are very difficult in the readability, right? So which placeholder is pointing to which column, you cannot get that much better readability. So to overcome that problem, we will use named parameter JDBC template. So other than this one feature, right? So other than this one feature, so everything is JDBC template is almost same like, sorry, named parameter JDBC template is almost same like JDBC template, right? So the only difference is in the query we don't use placeholder, we use question mark. Sorry, we don't use placeholder, we use some names, right? Colon city ID. So this is what is the named parameter placeholder. So when you use named parameter JDBC template, so we will use colon and we will give some name. So when you are passing the data, you should pass by using that same key. Okay. So this is very important. JDBC template and named parameter JDBC template, because the same concept is going to be there in data JP also. There you will see named parameters, named queries, right? Some kind of naming convention, some concepts are there. It's going to be the same. Whatever we are learning in the JDBC, it's almost same in in data JPA also. So there also we do write some queries, right? Some queries, some customized queries, some cases. So by that time, instead of using placeholders, it's recommended to use named parameters. So wherever you are, most of the times, right? Most of the times, it's better to use named parameters because it will increase the readability of query, right? It will increase the readability of query. So here it looks like select star from city, right? Where ID equals to, if it is a name, if it is a JDBC template, it was looking like this. As it is named parameter JDBC template, it is looking like this, right? So we will provide some name to our placeholder. So that is the only difference whenever we are working with named parameter JDBC template. Yeah, so it's like same method, query for object, update, execute, the same method, but the difference is here we don't pass object array, right? So there we are passing arguments as an object array, but here we don't pass the data in terms of object array. We will be passing in a hash map model, right? So we will be passing in a hash map model. So you just need to create the data parameters as a map object, and you need to pass that map as a parameter input. Okay, so make sure whatever the key you gave in the query, right, the placeholder key, it should be matching with your input parameter. So there it is city ID, here it is city ID. The colon can be ignored, right? Colon can be ignored. So when you keep the colon, so if you, I mean, you don't need to keep the colon, so automatically Spring JDBC, right? Spring JDBC named parameter JDBC template will populate the data into that query. So the final output query is going to be select star from city where ID equals to, for example, if you give 10, 20, or 30, so that corresponding query will be executed. So that is the only difference whenever we are working with named parameter JDBC template. So that's why we are not going to spend much time here. So we will directly write one, two examples, and we will jump into the next topic. So instead of injecting city repository, let's inject named parameter, right? Named parameter there. Let's call this named parameter demo dot get city by ID. Okay. Let's go to the database and get the city ID. I think some 460, 461 we saw yesterday, right? Yeah. So let's do that, and you're gonna get the city back. You're gonna get the city back. City post, okay. City 460. Some example. We got the city, just print it on the console, right? So system print city. Let's just save this code. It's the city 460. Yeah, use the correct variable, run the code. You see that the query will be executed and the city information will be printing on the console. Right? You see that, right? 460. So just change it to 461. Yesterday we were inserting that Mahbubabad information, right? So that information will be fetching and displaying on the console. 461 is not Mahbubabad, some inland city. Okay, I don't know. I don't remember the exact ID, so that's fine. Okay, so this is how it will work. So let's see one example with in class with respect to neighbor parameters. So whatever we tried in the city repository, right? So select star from city where country code in, instead of using placeholder, we were using some string manipulations, right? So let's not do that. So let's go to named parameter JDBC template and write the country codes, right? So instead of using placeholder, we'll use named parameter country codes. So yeah, so let's create a map. And set the data, right? So we will get a list, and we will pass that. As an argument. And it's again a query method, right? So if it is a single object, we call query for object. If the data is multiple, right? So if you get more than one row back, then you will pass we'll call query method. So the first argument is the query, second argument is the input parameters, third argument is the row mapper. So no exception, right? So you have to write the no row mapper when you are fetching multiple rows or row data. Instead of fetching one column, if you would like to fetch the complete row information, we have to write row mapper. So here we got some row mapper. Just I copy pasted from city repository to named parameter repository, right? And we will be using that row mapper, right? So let's go to Spring JDBC application and comment this line and uncomment the error line. Okay, so we will be passing two countries and we will get the two countries information. Right? So yeah, so last time in the city repository we were doing some string manipulations, right? When it is coming to name and parameter JDBC template, we are not doing any string manipulations. We are directly calling on it. So let's run this code and see whether we will get the output or not. Okay, so it worked, right? So we got the data. Okay, so in class is going to be supported by named parameter JDBC template. Okay, but I could see there is some problem, right? So here we are duplicating this class, right? So city row mapper we required in the city repository and we required in the name parameter JDBC code, right? So instead of putting this in the two classes, let's go to some common interface, put it here, right? And wherever you so not here. Let's go to the city repository interface. Yeah, just copy paste here, right? And let's use this interface, right? Let's use this class wherever we want it, right? So super anonymous inner, sorry, inner class. City repository dot city row mapper. Right? City repository dot city row mapper. So let's go to city repository here, and it is defaultly available because it is already implemented city repository. So yeah, here also you can remove that code. I think yeah. So from city repository ALVL. Yeah, now I think you will get an error. Yes. Next, let's go to parameter. Save this. As city repository IML already implemented city repository, that's why it is not asking that interface name. But name parameter JDBC template, no relationship. That's why we gave that inner class model to create a city repository. So we have only one row mapper, right? So no duplication. So this is good. Okay, so this is how we use named parameter JDBC template. So yeah, one more thing I would like to tell you is actually here we are parameters we are passing in a map model, right? So you don't need to pass map model. So there is another approach also available, right? So as we are Java guys, we know already map. That's why we are using that. But it's also possible to use a different class. So I think that is SQL parameter source, right? SQL parameter source. It is a Springs class. Okay, SQL parameter source is a Springs class. So you can create SQL parameter source and you can set the data like hash map and you can just pass that. But I feel comfortable using hash map because we were using this for so many years, right? So there is no difference between using SQL parameter source or hash map. So I feel comfortable using map that way. But it is also possible to pass SQL parameter source or map SQL parameter source, right? So both will work. Like how hash map is working, this is also work like in the same way only. So this is one implementation to the hash map, right? So this is another implementation of hash map. So it's going to be mostly same. It's going to be mostly same, uh, uh, like how we are using hash map. So with this, we are done with the named parameter JDBC. Any questions?
Sunil, suppose if we have more than one parameter, then
Create hash map and put, right?
so same way, right? Okay.
Yeah, just create map string equals to new hash map and just do hash map dot put and just pass.
Okay.
In SQL parameter, how do we do it? This is again,
Yeah, it's the same named parameter put. It's a map only. It is just another implementation of map. So whatever methods are there in the map, you will get the same thing here. So if you just go inside, you see that it implements that map interface, right? So it's the same thing. Here you see that put method is available. So both are same. There is no difference. It is going to give some extra benefits than map, but you need to use Spring class instead of using Java class. Okay. So that is what is the difference. Even I recommend you to use map because uh, it's defaultly available with Java, right? So this works fine for us.
if I have the same city ID in two places, right? Then also I don't have to, yeah, in map anyways. So it will take care of it automatically, right?
Yeah, it's a key based, right? So key should be unique.
Yeah. Yes, key will be unique, but in the query I'm asking, if I have the same city ID in two places, both will be replaced.
Yes, both will be replaced.
No.
Okay. Yeah, so with this we are done with parameter JDBC template and named parameters JDBC template. So we also have some batch processing. Okay, so there are multiple ways we can do. There are, I think, three ways. One is using JDBC template, right? So JDBC template has like batch prepare statement setter, and you call JDBC template dot process batch some method, and named parameter JDBC template we have, and again JDBC template is providing some batch again in the batch model. Okay, I'll show some examples so you get some better idea. So yeah. Yeah, I just kept some data. Okay, I just stored some data in some file. Okay, so I just read that file line by line, convert that into city object, right? Convert that into city object, and finally, uh, yeah. So just call the method, right? So batch processor setter and set the data. Okay, so query preparation, and you call JDBC template dot batch update. So if you have some 10,000 rows, all 10,000 will be updated at one go, right? One go. But it should be like same query we will be inserting, right? When you have like same query processing for a couple of times, then we go for batch processing. So JDBC template has a method called batch update. So by using this, you can do that. And named parameter JDBC template also has one more method. So it's yeah. Okay, so batch update. So here is the query, and instead of using placeholders, we will use the named parameters. There, the data is processing through batch prepared statement setter. Here it is SQL parameter source util, right? SQL parameter source utils we will be using, and it will automatically read that file and put it populate the data into this query. So named parameter JDBC template, we can do it with the less code. But sometimes what will happen, your file will have some millions of records, right? Some millions of records, millions of records. So that time it's not good to do those millions of records in one go. So it's like do a batch again in a batch, right? So sub batching. So that is also possible. So that support is available from Spring JDBC template. You have to use the overloaded method, and you should specify what is the batch count. So for example, if your file has 10,000 lines or 20,000 lines, it won't execute all 10,000 or 20,000 lines like one go. So it will execute like 100 batch, right?
So like sub batching. So that is also available. So you can just choose whatever it's suitable for you, right? So it's also possible to do the batch processing using Spring JDBC. So this concept is already available in JDBC, right? Batch processing. The same concept is available in Spring JDBC also. So whatever the features are available in JDBC, let's save point, transaction management, everything is available here in Spring JDBC also. Transaction management, I will show it um, in the Spring Data JP. Okay, so I will show it's the same thing. It's just a simple annotation using a transactional annotation. No auto commit set true, no auto commit set false, no commit, no rollback. So Spring will take care about that. So it's just you gonna do a declarative transaction support. So we will use it uh, transaction annotation, right? We will use a transaction annotation. If you put it on the method, so that method will be transaction supported. If you put it on the class, that entire class, how many methods are there? All those are transaction supported. So we have like a read lock, write lock, something like that. So based on the operation, you can use anyway. Select operations, we don't need any transactions. We need transaction only for insert or update, right? Insert or update queries. So for those methods, we can put a transaction. So Spring automatically take care about transaction management. Okay, so this is all about JDBC, right? So our main focus is learning JDBC template, and named parameter JDBC template. It's pretty easy if you are good in named parameter JDBC template, right? So our main goal is like learning the JDBC template and how the things are working in the background, right? So with this, we are done with the JDBC template. So let's quickly jump into writing one microservice and okay, just close this JDBC template. So let me open the workspace. Any questions before we begin? Any doubts?
No questions.
So, Sunil, do we have a separate project for Spring Batch in Boot also, like we have for MVC?
Yeah, Spring Batch, another project. Yes. Hello.
Yeah, got it. Okay.
Right. Just go to spring.io/projects. You see how many projects are there. Spring Batch, one project is there. So yeah. Anyway, we will not be covering that. Some batch processing people use that. So we will be focusing on mostly on the services, right? So microservices, services. That's why we are skipping that. Yeah. So there is separate project. Just refer this documentation and then you will get some better idea. Right?
Okay.
So let's come back. Okay, let's create one more project. You can do parallelly with me if you would like to do. Okay, or else you can do later. That is also fine. Okay. Spring starter project. Yeah, let's give the project name as country service. Okay, so give some description. Country service, microservice. Click next. Let's add web. Let's add dev tools. Okay. Yes. Let's add Lombac. I will tell you what is Lombac. Next. Finish. Okay. So it will take a while to create the project and download the dependencies. Yeah, we are doing this for so many times. That's why dependencies are not downloaded. It's just reusing the existing dependencies. Yeah. So the service is created. The basic application class is created. Right? Country service application. That's fine. The naming convention looks good. Yeah, we don't need any static template folder. Let's delete. Okay. So yeah. Yeah, I forgot to add the JDBC dependency. Let's add the dependency, right? So we will be connecting to the database using Spring JDBC. So it's going to be Spring Boot Starter JDBC, right? Spring Boot Starter JDBC. That's it. Okay, so we will get all the required dependencies. Yeah, so we are going to connect it to the MySQL, right? So we need to add the corresponding jar, which my which MySQL database and what is the version, right? So those things we should provide. So let's add MySQL dependency also. So we are done. Yeah, I want to keep this version as it is because my one is the old version, right? So if I use the latest version of MySQL jar, it won't be connecting to my database. So I still want to override this. Let it be, even though it's a warning. Let it be. Okay. Yes. So we added the dependencies. Now let's go to properties file and add the configuration, right? So the database details. So we can copy paste from our Spring Boot JDBC. So it's the same database we will be connecting. Yes. Okay.
Yeah, Sunil, one thing, as you told, like this JDBC connector having version, right? So suppose if we in real time, sometime if we are upgrading, then again we need to change version, right?
Yeah, you have to change for sure. When you
Like,
update your database, you have to change.
okay, so if okay, so we have to be very careful with version,
Hmm.
otherwise it will not. Okay, fine.
Yes. The application.properties file, yeah, we will be connecting to this, right? So with this, we are done with the setup. So added the pom.xml file dependencies, added the properties file. Is it done? Are you guys are doing parallelly with me? Is anybody?
Yeah, I am writing. 1 minute.
Viji, Chintesh, Madhu, Venkat, Jagadish.
I'm doing it, Sunil. 1 second.
Yeah, yeah,
No, no, Sunil, I will do it later.
yeah. Yes. Okay. Chintesh, you also better watch it. You later you do this after some. Okay. Okay. Yeah. So others, if you would like to do, you can do with me parallelly. Then I will be little slow. If you would like to do it later, then I'll be little fast. Okay. So whatever the content you wanted, let me know. I'll put it in the chart. You just copy paste, right? I'm doing the copy paste. Yes, you just change the parameters, right? So here I am using Spring Boot JDBC starter. So yeah, make sure you change the MySQL jar version. Okay.
Yeah, that is what I was saying. I am having some other work.
Okay. So let's write the controller. Yeah. It has to be in the controller package. Let's move it. Okay. Annotate this using REST controller. Okay. Mm, again, our favorite, right? CRUD operations. Get all, save, update, delete. Right. That is what we mostly do in any microservice, right? Yeah, mostly we will be writing a method like public. We're gonna return one model called country. Right. Let's create that. Get country by code. Okay. So as method says, it's a getter method, and let's give the URL as country slash country icon code. Okay, just get that country code by using path variable. Okay, so here we have hyphen, so we must specify the name to path variable and it's going to be some string. So let's assign this to string. So let's create country now. You just put mouse on it, right? IntelliJ Eclipse will show some intelligence, right? Create class country. Now you just put this in the model package, and let's give the class name is country. So yeah, so that's why it won't ask you the class name, right? So the country.java create. Okay. So let's go to the database and see what are all the columns are there. I don't want to fetch all the columns. There are around 10 to 15 columns are there. I'll just fetch few out of them, right? Like 4 or 5. ID, name, some description, so something like that. So there are around 10 to 15 columns are there. We don't want that much data, right? I already shared this database information, right? So you just upload the data. So you have the same data, whatever it is there on my blog. So let's get the country code, country name, continent, region, population, right? So 5 parameters, only 5 parameters. So it's going to be country code, country name, continent, region, and population. So let's write those parameters. Private string. So the primary key is code, country code. So I just say code, just fine. String name, name or description. It's a name. So private string. Let's add one more column called description. So let's keep name as description for now. Maybe in the real time it might have some meaningful description. But for now, let's consider name as description. Yeah, private name. We have continent, region, right? So continent. It's a string, right? So region also string. So we have one more data, right? Population. So get the long. Okay. So usually what we will be doing to access this data outside of this class, then we will be providing setters and getters. Right? The shortcut is Alt Shift S R. To get this pop-up, just click on select and generate. So Eclipse will automatically generate setters and getters. Right. So this is what we were doing for so many days and so many years. But with the project Lombac, the things will change. Okay, we no need to do all these setters getters. What we can do, we can just remove all these setters and getters. Just put Lombak annotation. So Lombak is a compile time annotation processor, will automatically generate setters and getters. So to get the support of Project Lombak, you have to use a getter, right? Getter, and you have to use setter, setter. Yeah. So just save these and just do Control Shift O. You see that the setters and getters are generated automatically, right? So this increase the readability, and it's good to use because it will generate the getters and setters in a standardized mode, right? So no typo mistakes, no problem. Anyway, Eclipse also will do the same thing, but it increases the readability, right? So it increases the readability. So going forward, we will use the Project Lombac, right? So going forward, we will be using the Project Lombac. So I think I already have some on my channel, YouTube channel. I already made um, some playlist for that. Okay, so you just refer that. It's like small. It's like a small video actually. It's like I mean, it's like 5 minutes or 10 minutes video. So when you get time, you just refer to it, right? So in microservices, we will be using that a lot, right? So I'm just pinging on the chat. You just save it, and when you get some time, you just refer that, right? Project Lombac. There are so many annotations are there, not only getters, setters. So we have equals method, we have toString method, we have data, we have builder, right? So there are so many annotations are there. So there are around 10 plus annotations and 10 plus videos are there on my playlist. It's like small videos. You just refer like mostly 1 hour, 1.5 hour, and all the individual videos. So when you get some time, you just go through, right? So okay. So we're gonna use this project Lombac. So in simple term, I can say it's like uh, compile time annotation processor. It's going to generate the setters and getters, and we no need to send this jar to the production, so there is no problem while running this code. So it's like pure compile time annotation processor. Okay, now let's come back. Now that issue got solved, right? Now the country is mapped to that country.java. Now we need to write some repository to fetch the data from the database, right? So let's write that repository class. So let's go to repository, right? But what repository it is? It is country repository, right? So let's give some meaningful name. Right? So country repository. Right? So by using this repository, we will fetch the data from the database. Good. So as it is database connectivity class, right? So let's annotate this class by using get repository annotation. It's like another stereotype annotation like component, controller, REST controller, service. As it is database connectivity class, that's why we are using at repository. And let's move this into repository package. Okay, let's move this into repository package. Okay, so we have different layers, right? Controller layer, model layer, repository layer. So yes, so here we will be connecting to the database and getting the database, saving the data into the database. So to do that operations, right, to perform those operations, we need the JDBC template. So that's what we're gonna inject here, right? So JDBC template, as we already know, Spring automatically creates JDBC template, named parameter JDBC template. You just auto it. You don't need to do any extra configuration. Spring Boot will automatically create and inject that object into your repository. So your repository only the class which talk to the JDBC template. Only your repository model, right? Only your repository package will use this JDBC template. It's not supposed to be used in the controller, and it's not supposed to be used in any other layer, right? So it's pure database connectivity purpose. So we have a dedicated package called repository. Only that particular package, we will use JDBC template. Okay, done. So we will write the method later. Okay, we will write the method later. But in between, I would like to put one more layer called service. So if any business logic we want and we will use this service. So let's do country service. So here we will not write much business logic, but in the real time, we will write some business logic. So we will have one more layer called service. Okay, so let's annotate this with service annotation.
Sunil, like repository annotation, like what is the difference between a normal bean and this?
It is just a simple naming convention. Okay, so service, component, repository, controller, all are same, but we have different layers, right? Web layer, service layer, repository layer. So that's why based on the modularity, we will use those annotations. But apart from that, all will work in the same way. All these are stereotype annotations only. Okay, just naming convention is different. Okay, so now let's go to controller and let's call service class method, right? Private country service. So let's assign this to a variable called country service. Yeah, let's call country service dot get. Let's give the same method name, whatever we gave in the let's use it as it is and pass this country code. right? So let's pass this country code to the country service. So now my country service doesn't have any method. So let's create that method. So just put mouse on it. Then IntelliJ will Eclipse will automatically show some intelligence to create that method. Just click on it. So the method will be. So let's call repository method here. So let's do auto void, okay, private country repository. So it's going to be country repository. You call country repository dot. Okay, country repository dot. Let's use the same method, right? Get country by country code and pass that country code. Okay, and the repository method should return object of city, right? So it uses home mapper and all, so you get the city of country object directly. But before calling the method, right, we need to do some kind of validation. The country name not supposed to be empty, not supposed to be null, right? So if it is null, then we'll get a different exception. So those things should be avoided before making the database call itself, right? Why we should do this? Because in the real time, actually the things will be working on a different systems, right? So you have a server which hosts your Java application, right? So it should be a different server, so it's completely a different system, and your actual database will be running on a different system. So to connect it to the database from your Java application, you would be making it some network call, right? So it's like if there is a call goes to network, right? There is a call goes to the database over the network, and the data will be coming back, right? So this process is little costly, right? So you are making some call, so your server needs to send some HTTP request and it has to convert. So it's like some cost effective call. So we're not supposed to do when the value is if it is empty or not null. So we should do all those kind of basic validations before making database call, right? So at least we can save some resources, right? System resources instead of making the DB call. So you can check country code is not equals to null and country code is not equals to empty, right? Not equals to empty, then you should, if it is null, and if it is not, if it is null or not empty, throw some exception. Okay, throw new illegal argument exception. Okay, so it's a Java predefined exception. We are just reusing it here. So in the real time, we will throw our own exception, right? Country service exception, something like that, instead of throwing Java exception. But anyway, that you will take care, right? Exception handling, global exception handling. We already discussed in the mobile service. So it's your responsibility to apply exception handling to country service. So I'll just write a Java a predefined library, but it's not supposed to be predefined library, right? So you should say invalid country code passed, right? Invalid country code passed, or else like you can say some meaningful error message. It can be the user can understand it. So country code is should not be empty, right? Empty or null. Some meaningful message, so where the client can understand, right? Yeah, let's throw some exception. If it is not null, not empty, right? Not null, not empty, then call this method, right? So yeah, let's create this method on the repository. Okay. Actually, I was expecting some kind of sound from you guys. You know, I did a blender mistake here. At least the people who are working in Java for a couple of years, they should highlight this, right? So this is wrong. This will not work, right? Equality check should be done by using equal method, right? That was a blender mistake. Okay, so never do that, right? Equal operator, you never do that by using double equal operator. You know, I was waiting for some noise you would be doing, but okay, it's fine, right? So if it is null or if it is null or if it is so just trim it, right? Trim it. So remove the extra spaces and just check.
Better use is empty, not. Yes, you
Yeah,
can use
so
that.
when you should get trim, not if it is equals to empty, then throw some exception. If it is not null and if it is not empty, then call the DB call. Right? Yes. So here we will call JDBC method, right? So JDBC template dot. We are going to return one object. So what method I should use? Come on, guys. Since like for past 2 to 3 days we are doing that. Right? What is the method I should call?
Execute.
Sorry. Come on. Madhu, Vijay, Abhiram, Chintesh, Anshu. What method I should call? Query?
Query object.
Query for object.
Object.
Query for object. And here I should write the query, right? So the query should be select. Yeah, let's write the query, right? So it's a JDBC. You have to write the query, no other good. So select star from, not star, right? So we are selecting only specific columns. So first let's write the query here and put it over there. Select code, name, continent, region, population. Okay, and where country, I think where no country code, right? So where code equals to, for example, I'm not sure whether I have India here or not. Let's try that out. Let's run this code. If you have India, you will get some data. Yeah, thank God there is one. Yeah, we have one row, right? India is there. So yeah, so instead of hard coding data, we should use the placeholder. So this is working query. Just copy paste it, right? Okay. So the first argument is a query, and the second argument is the data, right? So the second argument is the data. So what should we do? We should use
Record.
country code, and the third argument should be the row map, right? So let's write some row mapper. Static final class country row mapper. You know, all those things you can do it how I'm doing, right? Just because I'm just keep on writing the code, that's why it's handy. If you do write the code, like if you do couple of examples, you do feel the same way, and you do like as much as fast how I'm doing, you also do the same. So it's going to be so let's remove the final. What is the problem? Country row mapper implements row mapper of type country. So it's going to be some class.
Implements spell.
Yeah. So let's override the method. Yeah, first import this class. Import the country. It's not
Country spelling.
it's not string row mapper. It's spring row mapper. Yeah, it's a country. So let's override that method, right? So row mapper method. So you should provide implementation, right? So let's create some country object. Country equals to new country. And get the data from the query and set it here, right? So country dot set code, then call rs dot set get string and just pass the column, right? So code, there we go. So let's finally return country. Okay. Let's do this copy paste for a couple of times. One more feature I would like to show actually, like yeah, let's complete this. Okay, let's complete this. I don't like to use this setter, getter. Okay, I want to use some builder API, project Lambert builder API. Anyway, that's we will do it. Right? Set continent. It's going to be rs dot get string and continent. So it's going to be set region. Right, so its column name is going to be region, and it's going to be set population. Then Let's get the population. And I think it's not string, it's a get long, right? So get long. Already those data type conversion methods are already available in the results here. So you don't need to worry. So we need to pass this country row map object as a data. Right? So it's going to be new country row map object. So with this we are done. I think the parameters we are passing wrongly. Let me check. Let me check the methods.
Region spelling mistake.
Which one?
Get string region.
I think the row mapper, yeah, query for object, row mapper, but we need to pass some parameters, right? Yeah. Second parameter is a row mapper, and third one is a object array. So first one is a query, yes. Second one is a country, this one, right? So new country row mapper, and the third one is the argument, which is country code. Yeah, which one? Any
Line number 34. Get string region.
Yeah, it's a course. Okay. Oh, some yeah. So code, continent, region, population. Good. Okay. So with this, we are done with writing our first endpoint where we did the database integration also, right? Using Spring JDBs. So we are done like end to end. Let's test this. It's a web application, so it's going to be running on the Tomcat server, right? So just run as Java application. So it will be deployed. So meanwhile, let me start the Postman. Okay, it's 8080. It's not mobiles. It should be country. Let's go to controller and see what is the endpoint we give. It's country slash country code. So let's give country slash country code is INT. Let's send the request. Wait for the response. Oh, 404. No message available. So what's up? What went wrong? It's a slash 8080 COUNTR, right? So country, typo mistake. Yeah. So as we added dev tools, it will be restarted automatically. Yep. It started. It's available. Let's go to Postman and send the request. You get the response, right? Yes. There we go. Let's add some context path, right? So let's go to properties file and add so servlet context path. So just type servlet context path equals to /msk and save this. As we added dev tools, the changes will be reflected automatically. We no need to do restart. Just send the request. You get 404 because the context path is missing. Just add the context path and send the request. You get the response, right? Yes. So one endpoint is done. So can you do one thing? Can you take care about remaining endpoints? Is that fine? I'll share this code base with you. Actually, I don't recommend this one also. You start from scratch and you do complete everything. Okay, so for now, let me, it's like 10 to 15 more minutes to completing the remaining endpoints, right? So just without passing any path variable, it's going to be country, right? So we're gonna return list of countries. No ID specifics, right? It's going to be all. So I let's name this method, right? Rename method get all countries. Let's get all countries. So no path variable required. So we're gonna return all countries which are present in the database. So let's change the method name of service, right? So it's going to be get all countries, just to import java.util.list, right? So let's create this method and the service. Yeah, there we go. So let's call the method. So we are not passing any parameters. So it's going to be country dot get. Um, yeah. So let's create the method. One more method on the repository. Get all countries. Just put the mouse on it. Eclipse will automatically show IntelliJ. So it creates the method. Right. So it's going to be some simple query, right, for us. So let's move this method just before row mapper, and it's a direct query, right? So select the from country, right? So you are not star, it's 4 5 columns, right? 4 5 columns. So like code, name, continent, population, right? So it will be like this, and you call JDBC template dot JDBC template dot query, JDBC template dot query, and the first one is a query, second one is a row mapper. So we already have the row mapper ready. Just we are done with writing second query, right? So just go to Postman and remove this int. Just send the request. You get all the country details, right? So you see, right? Writing microservices is pretty easy, right? At least the basic funda. Yeah, let's go for post save. Yeah, save. We will get a country object and we will save it. But one small thing I would like to do here, yeah, it's a country ID you need to pass. Yeah, so let's get the ID, country ID as Disney. Let's get the country ID as Disney and save it. You have to do the validation. Okay, you need to take care about the complete validation of country. So what I will do, I'll just do one thing. Let's go to country code and whatever the condition we wrote here, right? So I am just checking the null and equal operator, right? Null and empty check. So instead of writing this null and so I'm gonna use the existing predefined util class, right? So Spring already has a class called um, string utils dot is empty of country code. It takes care about both null check and empty check. So you
Yeah,
just open
Anshuman
that.
was telling about it.
It takes care about null and empty. So you just reuse that method and you save it. You save the code. Yeah, let's go to this one and just pass some empty space, send the request, right? Empty space. What should we do? Some so Spring path variable is is taking care about that empty space check. So somehow I'm not able to pass this, but another things we can
Do
check, right?
Sunil, do one thing. Just for checking purpose, you can put empty here code.
Like R condition true you can do, you will get always this exception, right?
No, no. When you are accepting it, right? Before if condition, just set it as null.
Call in from the controller, right? Anyway, that is for testing purpose. Okay, and one more thing what I want to show is just remove this validation and put this validation in your model class itself, right? So you do write a method saying that public boolean is code is country code is valid country code, right? Is valid country code. So if this dot country code, don't pass the country code, just take it from the object itself. this dot country code itself is not valid, right? So this dot, I think it's a code, not country, right? Not valid. Then throw this exception, right? So throw this exception, else return true. Okay, return true. Yes, there we go. And let's write one more method. Okay, let's write one more method, and it's going to be overloaded method. And here I will pass the code instead of using object code. I just use this, and it will check it. Otherwise, let's use this as it is, right? So let's go to service. Let's go to service, or let's go to service. Where is it? Service. So you got the country code. Country code. What should you do? You should do like this, right? Country. Let's create the country object with this country equals to new country, and set the country code in the country dot set code country code, and you just write code something like this. If it is valid country code, then call this method is valid country code. And okay, if valid country code, you return this, else you throw some exception, right? You throw some exception. So here you should throw some valid exception. For now, I'm throwing some runtime exception, right? If there is no data returned from the database, then you should throw some kind of runtime exception, right? So it takes care of both valid and runtime exception. So it's going to be no data found with given country. Okay. Yes. Why I'm doing this, I will let you know. Okay, in a few seconds. Now, if I pass invalid country code, then I will get illegal argument exception. If the country code is valid according to the validation, if it is not empty, not null, then we will try to get the data from the database. If there is no data return, then we will throw null pointer exception, right? So we will throw null pointer exception. So it should be like this, right? So let's set this to country. Yeah. So if it is not null, then return the country. If it is null, throw the exception, right? If it is not null, return the country. If it is null, then throw runtime exception. Okay, that's not working. So let's use if condition, right? So it is not null, then return country, else throw the exception. Okay. So this is how we should handle about exception, right? Exception handling. So this is supposed to be country not found exception. Yeah, if I just send some junk data, then I will get, right? Country not incorrect result side accepted 0 actual. Yeah, so Spring database exception is throwing empty results data exception. You just need to handle this one also, right? So in your global exception handling, you must write empty result data access exception. So JDBC will throw this exception when there is no data returned from the database, right? You just see the description: incorrect result size accepted 1, actual is 0. So when there is no data returned from the database, so you want to get this. So your global exception handle should handle empty result data exception. Sometimes you get more than one result, right? For example, um, if you get more than one result exception, then you will get a different exception, right? So it's like expected one actually is more than one, right? If you get two results, then it is so actual is two. If you get three results, then actual is three. So like that, it will throw an exception, right? So if there is no data, then we are handling here. Anyway, database is throwing that exception, but it's not supposed to be data empty result data exception. It has to be handled using your global exception handling. So your global exception handling should handle illegal argument exception, runtime exception, empty result exception, right? So your global exception handling these many things should handle. One is empty result exception, empty result data exception. There is another exception like more than one row coming that we will check later. So one is empty, and another one is illegal argument exception. That is not supposed to be illegal argument exception. You should write country validation exception, something like that, right? Country validation exception. So you should handle that country validation exception also. You should throw country validation exception instead of illegal argument exception. So it's like country validation exception, and all exceptions are unchecked exceptions, right? Extends runtime exception and country not country not found exception. Country not found exception. Okay. Yeah. Empty results data exception, country validation exception, country not found exception. Let's go to the database and remove this query for object and put the query. Okay. Put the query. Let's call this method here, right? So let's call this method. You will come to know what will happen if you get more than one result, right? um, if you Okay, let's change the input, right? So India, there is only one row. Of course, it is a primary key. By using primary key, we will have only one row. Let's get some duplicated column, right? A region will be duplicated, right? Yes, region will be duplicated. So let's write the query where region equals to some Central Africa. So you get more than one row. Come on. Okay, yeah, you got more than one row. Let's do one thing. Let's write one more method. Let's not change this. Let's put it as it is. Okay. Let's write one more method. Okay. Instead of by code, by region, right? By region, you get region here, and you're gonna change this query to region. And you just pass the region, right? So we are expecting one object. We are expecting one object, but in the real time, you get more than one object, right? You get more than one object. So if there is no data, what will happen? You get empty. You get empty result data exception. You are expecting some data, but there is no data returned from the database. Get empty result data access exception. But sometimes you expect one object, but there might be possibility like you get more than one object, right? So how can we get that exception? Let's go to application and write command line runner. Just want the repository. So it's going to be country repository. Just return the command line implementation. So it's a simple lambda. So inside this, I call um, so repo dot okay yeah repo dot get country by region and pass the region. All right. So let's pass the same thing, Central Africa. Central Africa. You get, you're expecting one city, but it won't happen in the real time. So you're gonna get some exception. We want to see the exception. That's why we are trying this. You might be getting doubt why we are trying this, right? We want to see the exception. So that's why we are trying that. So you get the city. So it's not city, it's country. It's country. Let's change the variable name also to country, and you just call system.out.println. Right, so just call C. So here you're going to get an exception, right? You're going to get an exception because we are expecting one row from the database. We are expecting one row, but in the real time you get more than one row. Then your JDBC will throw an exception, right? Your JDBC will throw an exception. What is that exception, right? So yeah, I think it's a command line runner. As soon as you save the file, it will run this and it will print that exception details on the console, right? So let's to rerun the code. Let's do some changes, right? This won't execute. You will get exception, right? So you get some exception. So this code, this line of code will not be executed. So just save this. Look at console very carefully. There is some exception. You got it, right? So unknown column region, some type of mistake. Let's go to the.
Let's start with a typo error.
No, that is fine. Method name can be anything. Here the column is a problem. Okay. Now let's save. Yeah, it's just a simple method name. It can be anything. It can be start. Fine.
Okay.
Let's save. That is going to be called automatically. Yeah. You get an exception, right? What exception you got? Incorrect result size data exception. And you see this time expected 1, actual is 9. So I was not able to remember that exception name. So to get that exception name, I wrote this code. Okay. Yes. So these many exceptions you're supposed to get in your expected, right? So this is expected scenario. Whenever you are writing service, empty result data exception may come if there is no data is returned in the from the database, right? So if there is no valid country code is passed, you get empty result data exception, right? And sometimes you expect one row, might be the database will return multiple rows, right? So that is also possible. When you expect one row, but if the database returns more than one result, then you get incorrect result size data exception, right? Incorrect result size data exception. And these two are our customized exception. If validation fails, you throw country validation exception. If data not found in the database, then you throw country not found exception, right? Country not found exception. So these 4 exceptions should be handled in the global exceptions. Any doubts with respect to this exception handling?
Sunil, but we can get multiple rows, right? So why we are throwing exception?
Okay, so you can get it, but sometimes you do expect one.
Okay.
Sometimes you do expect one. You think that, okay, per region, there might be one data, but it might be some possibility, right? Some possibility you get more than one row. So that time you get that exception. So you have to be ready to handle the exception.
So it's
I'm just showing for demo purpose. It won't happen, right? It's like unexpected behavior just to get.
That can happen because expectation is one, but somehow we are getting more than one.
More than one, yes. So just to show that demo, I wrote that code. Okay, you can expect one, yeah, no doubt. But might be there are 2 rows, 3 rows in the database, right? You get some exception. So your exception handling should take care about these 4, right? Explicitly these two are predefined. So can happen, right? Can happen. You expect some data may not be there. Sometimes you expect one row, but there might be multiple rows returned. So you get these two exceptions, right? Empty result data exception, incorrect result size data exception. So by looking into that exception itself, you should say what is the problem, right? So when you see empty result data exception, you should say, hey, there is no data available with this primary key, right? And when you see incorrect result size data exception, then you should say, hey, we are expecting one row, but there are like multiple rows are present. So you should check why there are multiple rows are present, but that is fine. Okay, so this is what it happens, right? When in your exception handling, you should handle all these four and never throw runtime exception or illegal argument exception. I'm just showing you for demo purpose, right? It's your responsibility, right? It's your responsibility validating that validation you should do. On validation failure, you should throw country validation exception. And for validation, you should give a different status code. When the data not found, when the country not found, that time we should throw some other error code. So it should be like that, right? And empty result exception plus country not found exception, both are falling into same category, right? So when there is no data present, you throw country not found exception. When there is no data found, then JDBC will throw empty result data access exception. Both will be in the same category, but incorrect result size exception is different. You get more than one row, then you should give a different error code. You should give a different error code, right? So you should do validation properly. For validation, you should throw a different exception, right? And when there is no data found, you should throw country not found exception. Spring automatically throws spring result empty result data exception. So if Spring is not throwing that, and you should take care about it, right? Before returning, you should check whether the data is null or not. If the data is not null, then you should throw country not found exception. Country not found exception. It's not just throwing an exception. If you throw exception, it will be visible to the client like this. This is not the case, right? This is not the case. You must do a proper exception handling. Right? So that is do you want me to show one exception handling, you do the remaining, or you will take care all? We already discussed this part in the mobile service.
Can you show one, Sunil?
Okay, so let's create one exception, right? Anyway, country not found exception I don't show. I will show. Yeah, let's handle about exception result, or else let's take care about incorrect result data access exception, right? So let's take care about incorrect data access exception, right? So let's go to country controller. So we don't return the country directly. We will return a response. Right? We will return a response. This is our own class. We need to create this, right? So create class response inside model package. Okay, so this response is going to have three parameters. One is private. Okay, two parameters. One is response. Okay, and another one is errors. Okay, response and errors. Let's generate setters, getters. So what I will do, I'll just do get data. So get data is going to have all the annotations, right? Getter, setter, toString equals, everything is going to be generated just by one annotation. Just with one annotation, all these will be generated. Getter, setter, toString, hash code equals. Instead of writing all that code, you just add one annotation to data, lambda to data. Okay. Now let's go to controller. Instead of returning the raw object, what we should do, we should set this in the response. Okay. Response equals to new response. Okay, new response, and we just set response dot set set response.
No, Shatrughat.
Yeah, set response, set the country in the response and return the response. Why we are doing this? We will return one entity. It may contain response or it may contain error, right? It may contain response or it may contain error. So the client has to look at the status code. If the status code is 200, then he has to take the data from the response. Okay, if the header status code is 200, then he should be taking the data from the response. If the response header status code is not 200, if it is 400 or 404, then you should look into this error. So anyway, this is also our own class. Let's create one entity called error detail. Okay, in the model itself, error detail. So this error detail is going to have two parameters. Okay, so one is int error code. So just I marked as code and string message, error message, right? So we'll give proper error code and proper error message. If the status code is not 200, then you should look into that error details, errors, then you will get a list of errors, right? So it's not there, it's not data, right? It's data. So setters getters are automatically generated. Setters getters automatically generated. So let's save all the changes. Let's go and test the positive scenario. For example, positive scenario. So IND we are passing, you're gonna get one. It's like response status code is 200. Then you should look into response section, right? Now we do a proper exception handling. If there is some exception, for example, if there is some exception, we should return response only, not other type. It should be response, but the status code is different and error should be populated, right? So that is what is a contract. Now let's go to exception handling, right? Mobile dot the base package is not mobile. Let's change it. Go to right click on the base package, refactor, rename, save this first. Let's change this to mobile to country. Right? It's not mobile service, right? Yeah. Back rename sub packages also. It takes care about all packages, sub packages. Yes, continue. Yeah, done. So all places it got updated, right? Yeah. Now our service is country. Okay. Now let's create exception handling. I'm directly creating global exception handling, right? So global exception handler. Okay, it's exception handling. That's why we need to name it as exception handler, as it's going to be handled globally. That's why we name it as global exception handler. So proper naming convention, right? So we did the proper naming convention. Annotate that class with at controller advice, and we are going to return the response. Final is going to be response. Yeah, it's going to be our response, right? Where is our response? It's com. It's not visible. Yeah, it's game. Sorry. Com Spring Boot MSK country mode, right? So it's our response. Yeah. So handle what exception we will handle? We will handle that empty, right? So let's go to empty result to data exception handling. And let's handle this. So you get that empty, this one, right? Exception. You just annotate this method with exception handler, and what type of exception you're going to handle. Exception result to data access exception. Just import. Yeah. Now you just return response object. But before that, let's create error detail, right? Error detail. So it's going to be error detail dot sorry, no dot, right? So error equals to new error detail. Yeah. So set some message and error code, right? Set some message and error code, error dot set code. So let's give some number 10,020 or something like that. Okay, 10,020, and give some message. Let's give some message. Okay. So no country found with the given country code in database. Okay, and let's append the message from exception dot get message. Okay. Now once you get this, let's create object of response. Object of response equals to new response, uh, new response. Set that error into response, right? So it's going to be set error list. Actually we need to set an array list, right? Not direct, not error detail. So let's use arrays dot as list error. Okay, yeah. So finally you have to return response, right? Finally you have to return response. Okay, so this is how we should handle the exception, right? So when there is no data found, last time we got some big stack trace, right? So this time it's going to be a beautified error response, beautified error response. I did some mistake. You are not highlighting that. Okay, I did some mistake. So what is that, right? I thought you would have been identified that. So let's move this into not the package. Still there is one more mistake, right? Still there is one more mistake. I thought you would be identifying that. Okay, fine. I will test that and I will show you what is the mistake happening, right? Yeah. Now let's go to the browser Postman and send to get the success response. Let's try that. What's up? Controller country code. Okay. MSK country India. So let's stop it and start it. Country service application. I'm starting in debug mode. Okay, fine. Let it be. Let's send the request. You got the data, right? So yeah, you got the data. Now let's send some junk data which is not there in the database. You get some exception. Okay. Till you are not getting what is the mistake I did. Okay, fine. So let's send this. Okay, so it will be going into your exception handling, right? What's up? Why this is not handled? Controller advice, exception handler, empty. It's like empty result data access exception, right? Yeah. DAO, yes, empty result data access exception, and we are handling it. So it went into country repository, throw the exception. It's a global exception, right? Controller advice to the global exception. Let's put the breakpoint and see whether the flow is coming here or not. Let's send request for one more time. Yeah, it's coming here. We are handling the exception properly. Which yeah, it's coming here. Then why we are getting? Oh, okay. So we are returning the final response. We are handling this time. Maybe it's not empty result exception. It is something else. Let's go to controller. service. Exception handler resolved. Incorrect size. I there are two times it is printing. Is send, got the flow, country service. Yes, we are perfectly handling this. You are returning it. Right, still going to default exception handler. Okay. It's coming here, then why it's going again?
Oh,
Hmm.
okay. Exception dot get.
Let's return a response entity instead of returning response. See if there any difference will come. So it's going to be response entity. Let's do return response entity dot body builder body. You set this response. Continue. It started. You send the request. So we need to return response entity, right? So that was is the problem. Yeah. So at the same time, you should also return not 200 status code. If it is a 200 status code, then what will happen? He will be looking into the response. So we should say, right? You should say bad request, right? So we should return some other error code, right? Bad request. The request which he sent is a bad request. So other than 200, he has to look into the rest errors, right? So yeah. So let's rerun the code. Okay, again I started in the debug mode.
Sunil, if we instead of bad this 400, if you want to send some customized code, then we do this in response entity?
You have to set it at error level, not at response entity level.
Okay, okay.
Okay, so that is actual response status code, right? HTTP status code.
Yeah, that is what I'm saying. Okay, that you cannot change. Okay.
Here you can't, but here you can. So
And
other
that
than
is
200, that guy has to look into the errors.
okay, okay.
Okay, so even this has to be implemented in the mobile service also. In our mobile service, we should return the response, not the raw data, right? So it should contain both response and errors. If it is 200, then he has to take the data from the response. If it is not 200, then you should take it from the. He should look into the error section. So what went wrong, that he has to check. Okay, so why it is an array list? Because sometimes we give more than one error, right? So that is the reason why we are putting array. Okay. So this is how we should handle the exception, right? So wherever you see this runtime exception and all, you just change it to the actual exceptions, whatever we discussed, right? So this is what we handled now. So then you should handle about country validation exception, country not found exception also. Okay. And one more thing I would like to cover here itself is builder, right? So sometimes some places we are using new. Let's remove that new. Let's use builder concept, right? Lombard builder concept. It is there in my video also. You just go and refer that video. Okay. So it's no more new operator. It should be a simple one line, right? So it should be country dot builder dot code. Okay, code, and you should set the country code here. You call build method. Okay, build method. You should be getting the country created. So you just directly call build dot is validated. If it is validated, then call the service method. Okay, call the service method, and we no need to throw runtime exception because already we are getting um, empty result exception, right? Empty result exception. Just throw. Okay, so to avoid this compilation error, let's call validate code and call this method. Okay, yeah, just validate country code and just call this method and use return statement is this. Yes. So if it is valid country code, then the flow will be continued. If it is not valid country code, you will get this exception, right? Country validation exception. You will get a country validation exception that you have to handle. In the this. Let's create this, right? Let's create in the exception package. Okay, so this you have to handle. So you will throw, I think, create constructor R. Okay, and call super message. It's not exception. It should be runtime exception. Okay, it should be runtime exception. So we don't throw illegal argument exception. We will throw country validation exception. And then yeah, so yeah, you just call this method. If it is valid successful, then we will continue. If it is not valid, then we will get an exception. That exception will be converted into user understandable format in the global exception handler. So that is for country validation exception. So country not found exception is not required because database itself is throwing empty result data exception, right? So that's why we are just simply skipping. So incorrect result exception, you try one more method, get that exception, right? One more getter method, get country by region code. Yeah, if you found more than one result, then throw exception and handle it, right? So if you get more than one data, you just handle it. You get incorrect result exception that has to be handled in global exception handler. So with this, we are done with implementing two methods: get country by code, country, and one more method you can write, right? So get country by region. You pass the region and call let's create the method in the service. Right, create the method in the service. Yeah, call repository dot get country by region, pass the region. If it is more than one row is present in the DB, you will get incorrect exception, right? You get incorrect exception when there is no more than one row present. That has to be handled in the global exception. If it is one row present, like for example, India, we have one row, right? So you get success return, right? So you will get you will return that country back, right? For example, India. So with this, we are done with the three. You need to take care about saving with validation, proper validation, updating with proper validation. If validation fails, you need to throw country validation exception, right? Update country validation exception, saving. Yeah, any raw junk data passing in the request, you must throw country validation exception. Anyway, delete, don't do it, right? So or else you add one more column is active, true, false. On delete, you just make it is active, false in the database. That's it. That is what we need to do. Okay, three more APIs. So you need to take care about validations, exception handling, saving the DB, updating the DB, deleting the DB. Okay, so that is how it should be And for response also, let's add the builder. Okay, let's not write too much code. Let's minimize it, right? Let's do builder. Yeah, sorry, it's 15 minutes delay. Let's last 2 minutes, right? Builder. Builder. Let's yeah, let's go back to the place wherever you are using new. Just change this to response dot builder dot errors and set the list. Okay, and call build method. You need to do hands-on. That's why I'm this much fast. Okay, you need to write this service with your hands. Each and every line, whatever I'm writing, you need to write. Okay, yes. Wherever you create this response, use the builder. Now let's go to country, and you are creating the response here. Just remove all these. Right, response dot builder dot response and set the country and call build method and just return this as is, right? One line statement. Yes, here also it is same. Just remove all 3 lines. Just do it in one line. Yes, but here also it's same. We're not supposed to return this one. You're supposed to return uh, uh, response object, right? So it should be response. Okay, response, and then you should say um, this one, right? So what is that? You will get a list of country, right? You should get list of countries. Okay, once you get the countries, just yeah, put countries here. Okay, okay, there we go. It's just two lines code, right? It is just two lines code in the controller, right? In the controller, it is just two lines. Don't write unwanted code. Right. So it's simple 2 lines. It goes to service. It fetches the data from the database. If is there any exception, it goes to exception handling. Then it will be converted into a proper exception handler message, and that will be displayed. And the same thing applicable for remaining 3 operations: saving, update, delete. You need to do all 6. Okay, I have completed 3. You just take this as a reference. You have to complete. You have to complete all 6 operations with proper validation, proper exception handling. Okay. Yeah, sorry, it's too much delay today. Any questions? Hello.
No, Sunil.
There is some error came in the country repository. We are creating the country, right? This has to be changed to builder. Fine. Okay. So it's going to be country dot builder and no more setter getter. It's simple code dot code, right? Remove all setters. Just simple dot continent. Okay. Yeah. Remove all setters and put simple dot parameter.
Well, this builder thing, what you're taking is a Lombac property.
Yes,
Lombac, right?
it's a long back. Okay. And call build method. You get the country created, just return that country. Okay, so this entire process we call it as Fluent API, right? So method chaining Fluent API. So that is what is suitable for functional programming and microservices, right? So this is how it should look like. No new set and all. Those zamana chale gaya. Okay. Surely zamana wo.
Okay, okay.
Yes. Okay, so you have to complete this country service. That is an assignment, right? I completed some portion, so the remaining part you have to do. Okay. Going forward, assignments will be like this only. I will do some portion and I will give it to you. So before we jump into microservices topic, you should make sure all 4 are ready. So my mobile service we already completed. Country service today we are done. Okay, almost like 50% I am done. I'm expecting the remaining 50% you will be completed. So we are done with the second service with the exception handling and proper validation. So we need to still apply security and also those things we will do going forward, right? So the same service we will be using in the microservices. If you don't write, then you can't understand microservices. Then you will struggle. So start doing things at least from today. So you should complete these 2 microservices: mobile service, country service. So you should get hit from postman. You should get response, error messages properly handled, right? So no exception printed here. It's always supposed to be a proper valid JSON response. If any error, that has to be handled in the exception handling, and that has to be written in a proper way. Any issues, any challenges, let me know. I will write that code and show you. Any challenge, okay, I'm not able to do this, let me know. I will write that code for you, but you first try from your end. Okay, if things are not working, then come to me. I will just show that. Okay.
Yeah, sure, sir.
Okay. So yeah, our training will be continuing, right? No breaks. Tomorrow, if possible, Sunday, Monday it's regular. So yeah. Okay, guys. Thank you. See you tomorrow. Sharp at 8:15. Bye bye.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Yeah, bye.